Hey guys, Chelsea from Attention to Details, and let's talk microfiber laundering. So, a lot of times when it comes to washing microfibers for auto detailing, some people will, you could have anywhere from the people that buy it once and dispose of it, which in my opinion is very wasteful, and there are those that they'll just buy the cheapest microfibers that they can get from Walmart or Pet Boys or whatever, and they'll just wash it with their normal clothes. You do want to be mindful of the quality of microfiber that you're purchasing, especially if you're using it on paint. And you also want to be mindful of how you are laundering your microfibers. So even though, let's say you're using microfibers around your house to clean, or if you're using them for your vehicle, you don't want to launder microfibers with cotton, polyester, other things like that. You want to wash them separately because of lint and the fact that all of those microfibers on the ends, they're going to get clogged up with lint and things like that. So you want to wash your microfibers kind of separately. So that's first and foremost. And you'll notice here, I'll put the link for this down below. This is the Autofiber Microfiber Organizer. And the way that I have this organized, it's not 100%. I'm still kind of working on it because I just picked up the trash can to house it in, and I'm still figuring out how I want to organize it. But essentially I have my glass microfibers separate, my interior ones. These are the ones that get really dirty and nasty. So I'll just kind of wash these separately if I get a large enough pile. And then I also have my drying towels, wash mitts, and then also some of my like wax sealant, wipe off removal, coating, different microfibers. All of these are kind of over here. So you could essentially, if you have a large enough load, wash all of these separately if you want to go that route. I have in the past washed everything all together because I didn't have enough microfibers to make a large enough load. And I do try to be mindful of water, electricity, things like that. So if you were to wash all these together, it's not going to necessarily damage any of the microfibers, like especially if you're using proper detergents and, using the proper amount of water temperature and drying temperatures. I have had these all washed together multiple times. They come out clean every time, and they come out looking great. My interior ones, they get so heavily soiled, especially if I use them on door jambs and things like that. Sometimes I will pre-soak those in a bucket of APC or just kind of rinse them out with a pressure washer just to try to knock off some of the really nasty stuff because I don't want that in my washing machine. But when it comes to sorting, you can sort them, glass and maybe your washing towels, drying towels, and then some would probably wash their coating towels separately. Ceramic coating wipe off, like if I'm leveling, I will actually soak those in a bucket of APC first so that they don't harden on there, and then I'll wash them with my normal detergent. When it comes to detergents, this is actually Berkeley & Jensen. This is the equivalent of all free and clear. You do not want any perfumes, fabric softeners, anything like that in your detergent. So I will actually use this with a standard, fill up with soap. And then I will also actually use this product right here. And this is Micro Restore. I have here just kind of different various settings. I'll put the detergent here, and I'll put the Micro Restore into where my fabric softener is. And I normally, for a large load, will fill it up to the 1 ounce. And by using the combination of these two, I get clean microfibers every single time. So I'm going to go ahead, get these sorted out, put them in, show you how I would do my detergent. And I'm not necessarily going to show you, but I'll show you what they look like after they've been washed and dried. And you determine for yourself if this is a process that might work for you in your world. I'm just going to show you guys. I'm going to put them all in. It's going to be a pretty big load for me. But I just want to show you guys. You don't necessarily have to wash them all separately. I've got a couple pretty grimy ones from just wiping the top of the windows. I'm going to wash this separately by hand. I kind of left that on the top to remind myself because I learned the hard way, don't dry them. The glue from the felt will come right off. But you can even see, I'm going to wash this one by hand. This is like a tire dressing applicator, so I'll wash those with APC just because those normally don't come 100% clean. But even microfibers like this, I'm just going to throw them in. Oh, that is a pungent smell. These have been in here for a couple days. I had a couple really bad vehicles lately, so I went through a lot of interior ones. Okay, that is done and emptied. So we're going to take our all free and clear. And since I have a large load, I'm going to go ahead and use a full cap. I'm just going to throw the cap in. And then I actually have an old one. I like these pre-measured ones. So that's a ½ ounce. And since I have a lot of microfibers in here, and I also, they're pretty soiled, I'm going to add another ounce. I'm going to put that right into my fabric softener. What's great about this stuff, you can pick this up off of AutoAlity. I think you can also pick it off of Amazon. But this is meant to remove heavy waxes, oils, and greases. Contains no bleach or fabric softeners. HE wash safe super concentrate, biodegradable, and you can buy it in a gallon. I normally go through one of these a year, and that's with me doing microfibers at least once a week. So you can wash with this alone, but just because I use my microfibers a little bit more heavily, especially my interior ones, I combine it with the all free and clear, and I normally get really great results. So when it comes to settings, every washing machine is differently. Some will tell you no hot water and air dry. I don't think you need to go to that extreme. I actually will go like one below the hottest setting because you want to loosen up all that dirt. You don't want to go super, super hot to the point where you're kind of scalding the microfibers, because if you've ever used steam and microfibers together, like especially if you have a steamer and you wrap the end with a microfiber, it can damage. So my water's not getting that hot as steam. So I don't have to worry too much about, it damaging that, but cold is not sufficient enough. I mean, anytime you have heavily soiled fabrics, standard rule of thumb is you want to use hot water. So I don't go to the hottest setting, I go one below because I have like 5 temperature settings. And on mine I have like bulky sheets and I do deep water. What I'll do, I also have a deep clean setting and an extra rinse. So one, I'm doing the extra rinse to try to remove any remaining residue that might be on the bowl of the washing machine. But this is the same washing machine that I wash my clothes in for my family, so I have never had an issue with our clothes being damaged. I don't smell funny. Some of you guys may be thinking, ew, that's gross. I make sure, I don't even have to wipe down the inside of the bowl. I examine it. I care about my family. I'm not going to be introducing any unhealthy substances. Between the deep cleaning, the extra rinse, the different detergents that I'm using, I'm getting clean microfibers, but I don't have to worry about my clothes afterwards. So sometimes some guys will actually buy a separate washing machine just to wash their microfibers in. I think that's going a little overboard, but you do you. If you feel like that's what you got to do, or if your wife or spouse is saying do not wash our clothes in the same washing machine, you do what makes your life peaceful. So this is kind of what works for me. We're gonna go ahead and get this started. You guys kind of saw I have really large load, heavily soiled. We're gonna get these washed, dried, and I'll kind of show you what they look like after. So let's do some laundry. so just so you can see, if we were to come in here, wipe down the walls, if it didn't do a good job cleaning, you would imagine there'd be kind of a film. I sprayed it with like a yellow Windex, so you can see that's why. But everything's nice and clean, so we're just going to come in here. We're going to put it on normal, low, normal. So I have low. You could do air fluff, no heat. I do low, normal, normal. I could do heavy, but that kind of, you know, moderates the heat a little bit higher, so we're going to do low and normal. I find if I do air fluff, no heat, they get a little stinky. So the low, it doesn't curl the microfiber ends, it doesn't damage them by any means. It actually gives them a nice fluff and prevents them from kind of getting that sour smell, because with air fluff, no heat, it's just not enough. So get these dry, and then I'll kind of show you what they look like. Alright, so everything is dried. I ended up doing 2 dry cycles because it was a large load, and having it on low heat, it took a while for them to dry. So next up is I will take all of these and inspect them. I will lay them flat, check both sides, make sure there's no large pieces of debris or lint, heavy staining, things like that, and that's how I kind of know how to assign my microfibers for different roles. So if the microfiber gets heavily soiled, stained, things like that, and that is unfortunate, sometimes even on your nice exterior ones, it can just happen. That's where I'm constantly buying new microfibers. Probably I'll buy a new pack every 1 or 2 months, just to constantly have fresh ones for the exterior, for waxes, sealants, ceramic coatings, things like that. And then if the ones that I had on the exterior get heavily soiled or stained, or if I drop them, let's say in mulch, I'm not going to freak out if I drop it in a little bit of dirt. Some of you guys need to chill on that. If you drop it, you throw it out. You can wash it, because if your interior ones get so heavily soiled, or you're doing door jambs or engines or things like that, and you wash those and reuse them, why wouldn't you just wash the ones that you may have dropped and just demote them to interiors? So you don't necessarily have to make this rocket science or super stressful. You don't need to buy new microfibers every single time. If you're doing that and it works for you, you know, c'est la vie. But for me, I am always trying to be mindful of my resources, my money, and microfibers are expensive. Even though I buy them at very affordable suppliers or merchandisers, I get all my microfibers either from Autofiber, Luxury Microfiber, or McKee's 37. They have fantastic microfibers. I may experiment, try out different ones. Obviously, for drying towels, the Sucker or the Dreadnought towel, I enjoy the Korean Edgeless, and you can pick those up from Autofiber or even McKee's 37. If you're looking for cheap, disposable crap ones for interiors, Walmart is sufficient. But, this doesn't need to be rocket science, but you do need to make sure that you're paying attention to how you launder them, your heat settings for washing and also for drying. Make sure you're inspecting them, make sure you're folding them and storing them in a clean location. You don't want to necessarily keep them out in the open or places where they can drop. And from there, you should be able to get months, if not years, out of some of your microfibers. And they may not always be exterior, but you should be able to have clean and sufficient microfibers to be able to do detailing. Microfibers, in my opinion, are the most valuable tool that a detailer can have. You can have, the most expensive polisher in the world, but if you're doing interiors or having to clean or do waxes, sealants like that, you need quality microfibers in order to do a quality job. And you want to make sure you're taking care of them. So I didn't mean for this to be as long as it was, but I just want to make sure I cover all the bases. If you have any questions about microfibers or any other questions, shoot me a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be able to stay tuned and notified for any future videos we have coming out. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Have a great day.